Are you hearing me now? Alright, Chris Carson, I see that you're in chat. We'll be going live in just a minute. Just getting everyone set up. We jumped on a little bit earlier just to, give it a few minutes for everyone to pop in. Thank you for everyone that's tuning in, and we'll start in just a few moments, okay? Stay tuned, everyone. Got a lot to cover tonight. And hello everybody. Oh, my hair's a mess. Let me get my hat. This is the Go Home Wrestling Show. My name's EJ. Alongside with me are the two nice gentlemen that have joined us tonight and entertain you guys. To the left here, we got YouTuber William back again. Say hello. And as well our madman himself, Matt Griff. Yeah, glad to have you back, and what a week of wrestling that we got to cover. Now we're going to start the show off right away just to let the people know in chat and everyone that's listening to the show later on, we will not be covering the Super Showdown. Main reason, I didn't see it. I'm sure everyone else probably has at this point, but I haven't. Oh, you haven't seen it either. All right, so...
some YouTube notifications.
Yeah.
YouTube channels episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers of the result.
Oh, I don't want to know. I'm the old school guy, so please refrain from doing that, folks. Be nice. So, with that being said, yeah, we're going to be doing a special show Tuesday night to cover the Super Showdown that happened today. Other than that, we're just going to cover Raw, SmackDown, the go-home shows leading up to the Super Showdown event. And we're going to do a Best of the Best tournament. Who is the best WWE tag team right now? We're going to be covering all that in this episode of Go Home Wrestling Show. Let's start with it right away. Let's go into the Raw Weekend Review, ladies and gentlemen.
It is time for the Raw Weekend Review.
Hold on a second. All right, there we go. And, all right. we're going to start off this week. Now, remember last month, leading into the last pay-per-view, the go-home show for Raw was just awful. And we bashed the hell out of it. I don't remember who was in that episode, but it was unanimous that it was just a horrible episode. Can they... What, slap ass? Yes, we call him slap ass now, Bag Ref. Oh, no, not yet, not yet. I'm going to reveal that on Twitter later on this week. And for people that don't know, watch last week's episode and you'll get the inside joke there. Alright, so can they redeem themselves this time? Going into the Super Showdown event, let's get right to it. The opening segment, of course, you have to have the Shield involved, but this time it wasn't Roman Reigns, it was Dean Ambrose. Of course, being interviewed, and basically the premise of the interview was, where does he side on? He even said during the interview he considered walking out on the Shield, but he can't because he said it isn't a brand, it's a brotherhood. Then was interrupted by the GM Baron Corbin and offered him 3 choices of the night. He's got to pick one of these matches. It was either face Reigns for the Universal Championship, Rollins for the IC Championship, or face Braun Strowman. Of course, I mean, what would you think he would go with? He can't turn on his brothers. Of course, then Corbin pretty much announced it for him that he was going to face Strowman. But real quick, before we cover that match, I mean, what did you think of their approach? Of course, they've been going with this whole divide and conquer. But what do you think of this approach going into this show?
Well, I actually kind of like. I like the theory they're going behind because they just keep building on this premise that at some point we are going to see this breakup happen. I think we're all in agreement that eventually it was going to be Dean Ambrose anyway. So I kind of like that they're feeding into this, leading up to it. But I wish they wouldn't rush it as much as they are. Kind of space it out a little bit, and let's go from there. But definitely, it's something we do see in the future happening. Now the question, where's he going to go when that turn comes?
True.
Well, there's a couple things I have that I noticed throughout that episode, so I'll mention that later on as we go down the show. Yeah, I did like the approach they did. It's of course they're going to go with the divide and conquer, but they were also trying that approach the week before, trying to get McIntyre, to turn on Strowman and Ziggler. So you saw, they jabbed back. But again, we'll see how they're going to approach this. Who's going to break away from the Shield, and how are they going to do it? Real quick, YouTuber, what'd you think of it?
Well, Griff said it all.
Griff said it.
Took all the words out of my mouth.
All right, nothing to add there. Let's go on. All right, so the first match of the evening was Dean Ambrose, Braun Strowman. I'll tell you right now, to me, for what I saw, probably one of the best matches out of Strowman in a while. After that disastrous Hell in a Cell match, he needed something to redeem his, not so good showing. Oh, hold on. There you go. I'm sorry, you seemed a little low on my end. Let's raise you up. There you go. All right. There we go. That's a lot better. I'm sorry. Just wanted to make sure I could cut that out later. All right, so go right into it. I'll start with you, Magriff. What'd you think of the match?
Kind of on the same lines there. I was impressed with Strowman in this match.
Yeah.
He definitely did a lot more than what he's done in the past. But from everything I've read and seen and all this, I'm actually more impressed with Dean Ambrose out of the match than I think most people are, because I think Dean really went above and beyond to showcase Strowman. He really put Strowman over. But back and forth wise, I mean, is it a match that we're going to call some huge success? No. I don't think either one of these guys are at that kind of level yet.
Nope.
But it was an enjoyable match. It's one that I wasn't trying to sneak off to go get snacks or anything. Actually really enjoyed it. It was a really good match to sit back and watch.
Yep.
And do you have anything to add on that, YouTuber?
No. It actually, some of what Griff said, it did show some good sides of Braun and Dean during the match. They put out a little bit of, some stuff out of Dean that we thought we would never seen.
Yeah, with the retreat from Strowman, it did show like there was a weakness to him, and I like the quick attack from Ambrose, which he did approach that before in WrestleMania 32 against Brock Lesnar. Yeah. He has that in him, even though he's a little bulkier now, but the endurance is still there because he kept with it throughout that process, throughout the match, and it was pretty good. But of course, towards the end, you know, when they think he didn't have a chance, and they're feeding onto that storyline of the possible breakup, yeah. Rollins and Reigns interfere, and then, of course, Corbin that came out and then announced that Reigns will face Ziggler, Rollins versus McIntyre. Very excited about hearing that, though. So, yeah, like, they continue to feed that in their heads like there's going to be a breakup, but before they go into the next match with Ziggler and Reigns, of course, they go to commercial, they come back from commercial, and then it shows Rollins and Ambrose in the back. And this is the next part where they, you know, trying to hit that with the breakup. Of course, Ambrose was upset by the outcome. Rollins tried to calm him down. He even said that Roman and him came out just to look out for Ambrose. It was just to protect him. It wasn't so he wouldn't get hurt with the match coming up at Super Showdown. And then at the end, this was very interesting, is that the line he says to end the segment. And he says, "It's funny, I could have been IC champion right now," and walks away. Now, YouTuber,
yep.
What did you think of that line?
That line was like, Dean could have gone for it, but he knew he had to do stuff for his brother. But we all know, probably down the road, probably in a month or so, give or take, Dean's gonna snap and pull Seth Rollins with the steel chair.
So you think it's going to be the opposite effect of what happened 4 years ago?
Yeah.
You know what? How they're going to do it, it is going to be shocking. But you know what? Again, I have a theory on this, but we'll get into that when we cover later on in the show. But going to you, Griff. I mean, from that line, and by the way, hello, new on Twitch. How did you take that line? I mean, like, what came to your mind when you heard that?
Just more of the same thing. I mean, to me, it wasn't any kind of big surprise. It was just another one of those little seeds planted. At some point, I'm going to make this turn, and I'm coming after you, Rollins. Just a small little dig, planting a seed that it's coming. I didn't read a whole lot into it. Like you said, we're probably going to get into more of the theories of what we think is going to happen later on in the show. But, yeah, it was kind of fun to see, but it wasn't something that I just read a whole lot into.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a quick thing. It was like a cheap thing. But, again, it did happen. It was said. It planted a seed of what could potentially happen. But nonetheless, yeah, it's got people thinking. And you see it on social media, their theories of what's going on. And we'll give ours later on in the show. Now, we go from a pretty good match into another match. You can't deny Reigns' talent, but you also can't deny Dolph Ziggler's. Next match was Dolph Ziggler versus Roman Reigns. Had a couple really good close finishes. One with the zigzag, and then, of course, the Superman punch. You thought the match was over. Back and forth contest, but, of course, Reigns gets the win with the spear. And one thing I did notice at the end of the match, they had to show the replay of people cheering.
I was about to say that.
The people were popping, and trust me, people called in to bust it open because every week someone, has to report of, was there a pop? Was there booing? There was more booing. And that could be, of course, biased. They could be just saying that to feed onto the hatred of Roman Reigns. But I could see that there's not a lot of cheering. But going along with...
Someone's phone just went off?
Yeah, that was me. I'm sorry.
From the tweet I sent out, I'm sure.
Yes, it is, actually.
I tweeted Tim out as well, but I typed Tim in it. I just tweeted, come help go home out, as he has the two with the best BW mods helping him out.
Thanks, man. All right. Going with you, William. I mean, you had that great match with Rollins and Ambrose. How'd you feel about Ziggler and Reigns?
Yeah. It was pretty good. Some people, honestly, I was actually on the edge of my bed watching that match.
Oh, so you were into it. Okay. At first, you kind
Yeah,
of sounded like you weren't into it. You're like, eh.
no, it was. It was just. I could see WWE like, but having Ziggler like if they don't have anything planned for him, I would go after like the Universal title. And also, I have audio coming through my headset. Yeah.
Wait, you said Ziggler going for the Universal title?
Too. Yeah.
I think there might be a few people in the way, but definitely can see him getting the title again. Whether it's WWE Championship or Universal.
I got audio still going through.
What's that?
I got Tim's audio still going through for some reason. I haven't paused. I got it.
Oh, okay.
Tim's audio still going.
You got someone else's. All right. Matt Griff,
Tim.
how did you feel about that match compared to the other one? I mean, like, how'd you feel about it?
This one for me is a little bit tough because there's kind of two sides to this. First of all, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. And honestly, it was one of the best matches I've seen Reigns involved in, and it just proves that how good Ziggler is at putting over talent. He can, in Ziggler's case, the guy just has chemistry with anybody he gets in the ring with. We saw it with Rollins. We've seen it time and time again. He's called the show off for a reason. Reigns did a great job. I do see some kind of future feud for these two guys. I don't think it'll be Universal title. But my downfall to this match was you could tell this was kind of a rushed program. Had these guys had more time to build something and actually plan out a great match and more time in the match, I think it could have been something off the charts. So that's my only complaint about the match. Outside of that, it was actually a really good match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a very good match. But the thing, you just nailed something right there, that a future program. And it could be something as simple as screwing him over of the Universal title for Drew McIntyre. A lot of people were speculating that McIntyre could be one of the next guys winning the title on Raw. And it could seem that way because there's a positive, whether even though it's negative, but still there is a positive reaction to McIntyre with the title. Right now, it's currently the Raw Tag Team Championships, but in time, it could be the Universal Championship, and a lot of people are accepting of it. He is a heel, but people can accept it. More so than Reigns right now, or even Brock Lesnar in the recent year and a half. But yeah, I feel like it could it just start from a simple Ziggler costing him the title, and you build a program from there. And it could go either way from that point forward, but the thing that starts it all could be something like that. So, by the way, we are live on Twitch, YouTube, and Mixer every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, in the points of the podcast, we're going to announce chat. So, if you do want to watch us and talk with us live, Go Home Wrestling Show on YouTube and Mixer and Twitch. And Chris Carson in chat says, so you guys didn't notice Ziggler zigzag never finishes the match? I did notice that. It gets a lot of close finishes. That's how you kill a finisher. And I was never a fan of using the finish and then people kicking out. You could use like a devastating maneuver and then get that potential almost 3 count. Get that close count there.
Okay,
But yeah,
okay.
I was never a fan.
I have a dog there.
Oh, that's fine. I was just never a fan of using a finisher and then them kicking out. How do you feel about that, Magriff?
Same thing, and it seems like it's gotten so much worse over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And Chris is right on point there. With Ziggler, it happens almost every single time. The only time that you see somebody pinned off of zigzag is because they're getting the Claymore with it as well. It's the only time you ever see Ziggler get a win off zigzag anymore.
I love that finisher, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I get a point, but here's the thing. He's a heel. And a lot of heels back in the day didn't use their finisher so much. Like, they would use it on the enhancement talent on the Saturday morning shows, like the, Superstars, Wrestling Challenge, anything like that. Like $1 Million Man, he would use the $1 Million Dream. When did you ever see him beat a face with that, really? You hardly ever saw that. They would cheat.
Really?
They would cheat to win. And he is a classic heel for that. So it could be accepted because he's a classic heel and like how he beat Rollins for the title. Roll up. He held his tights. That's how he won. He didn't do it with the zigzag. So in a way, it could work, but in a way, yeah. They do it more than just the heels. The face, they would land a move. You think they get the victory, they kick out. How many times did Brock Lesnar put Roman Reigns in the F5, and how many times did he kick out?
4 times.
4 or 5 times at the WrestleMania match? Yeah. So, yeah, I get what you're saying with that. It's overkill, but I think in the classic heel sense, I don't think it hurts too much to have the heel do it and then have him kicked out. I'm only pointing out. What's the matter?
An ad.
Oh, okay.
It's another ad on your end.
Oh.
Yours for some reason. Not even refresh the page or anything.
Oh, okay. I don't know. We don't have everything for ads. Anyways, so we're going on to the next match. You had the 2 matches. Of course, you got to keep the storyline going of the Shield versus the Dogs of War coming up with the Super Show. The 3rd match, Rollins and McIntyre. I myself was looking forward to this. 2 guys that always knock it out of the park, and to me, they did not. They didn't disappoint. Great back and forth match. Great power shown by Rollins with the buckle bomb. Very surprised with that in that point of the match. And he also had the upper hand to finish. When Rollins had the upper hand, of course, Ziggler, came out, distracted Rollins. McIntyre hits Rollins with the Claymore kick for the win. And, of course, then all 6 guys, end up battling at the end of the segment. So we have a few questions, and then we'll move on to the next point of the show. I'll go with you, Magriff. First of all, what did you think of this match? I mean, yeah, it's 2 pretty good matches, but do you feel this one stole the show out of the 3?
Oh, man, not like you. I was looking forward to this match. I'm a mark for McIntyre. I think he's one of the best things going in the universe, and Rollins has been for a long time.
Oh, absolutely.
And in the past matches these guys have had, they've always stole the show.
Yeah.
This was a letdown for me.
Really?
To finally get to see one-on-one, here we go. It just didn't live up to what I expected.
Was it because of the finish?
So, is it better than everybody else on the roster? Without a doubt. It's just a letdown from those 2 guys' ends. I expected more out of it, but I'm sure we're going to see more out of these 2 going forward, more in a pay-per-view sense. So I look forward to seeing what they do in the future. Just for this in particular match, it was a little bit of a letdown for me.
All right. Well, to me, I thought it was an entertaining match. And of course, everyone can enjoy it. Some people aren't going to enjoy it. Yeah. I liked it. You didn't. We still got one guy. William, what'd you think of the match?
It was good.
Oh, okay. There you go. Was there anything that came out to you that made you like it? Was there something specific or just the whole match in general?
With Rollins' power there, were they able to get McIntyre to go from one side of the ring to the other with that buckle bomb?
Yeah, that was surprising.
That was impressive.
Yeah, it definitely was. Because you have...
Just imagine trying to do that to Braun Strowman. That would be brutal.
Yeah, if anyone could pull that off, that would be like massive. But I don't see that happening. I don't even think Brock Lesnar could have done that.
Because then they need to stop that match between Rollins and McIntyre.
Yeah, well,
every match with McIntyre should possibly be a pay-per-view match.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a program, obviously. They were planting that seed for a while. And maybe they might want to have McIntyre get the mid-card title on the way to Universal title, but he held what was it? He held the title before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he left. Yeah, he did have that. When he had that feud with Hardy, too. So, yeah, it did happen. Okay. Well, since we had someone that was, kind of not a big fan of the Rollins-McIntyre match with Magriff. Magriff, I'll ask you, which 3 of the matches did you think stole the show? Which one you thought was better?
God, I hate saying this.
You're going to say Reigns and Ziggler, aren't you?
Reigns and Ziggler,
wow.
Believe it or not. Everybody knows I'm not a huge fan of Reigns, but I was highly, highly impressed with this match. So I'm going to say Reigns and Ziggler this go-round.
Oh.
Wow. But you know what? It's Ziggler. And undoubtedly, Reigns has talent. We always said that it wasn't face talent. I mean, like, he's good heel, and he comes off better as a heel, and I think that's why a lot of people they overlook his talent because what they want him to be, and he isn't. But
Yeah.
I get what you're saying with that, and it's a valid point. To me, I enjoyed the Rollins McIntyre. It's probably because I was more of a mark than watching it as a, like what we do, analyzing every match. And what do you think stole the show, William?
I'd have to say it was both. Like all three matches were good, but the best out of the two was the Ziggler Reigns, Rollins, McIntyre ones. Both those two were too good. I couldn't decide between them.
Yeah, so I'm a mark for them too. It just
If I know what Baron Corbin's going to do, since he's probably going to give McIntyre a shot at the Intercontinental title in the near future, since he did beat the current Intercontinental champion. So people are going to speculate Drew McIntyre is now the instant #1 contender since he defeated the champion in non-title action.
Yeah, well, we could see that. We don't know. He could pull the old-fashioned Diesel, beating Razor. You had Shawn Michaels, Diesel and Shawn Michaels with the tag titles, and then of course Diesel gets the victory over Razor to capture the title. You could possibly see that the bigger guy getting the championship again. I mean, we always say like this is the modern day Diesel and Shawn Michaels, and you could probably see the same thing, a repeat of history. But you were going to say something, Ed Griff. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Well, I got a question for you guys over Drew McIntyre.
Sure.
Since he got moved up to the main roster, can either one of y'all remember him being pinned or losing the match himself?
No.
Nope.
When it came to the battle,
right?
Yeah, when it came to the battle royal, Ziggler was pinned.
Right.
Any tag matches, Ziggler was pinned. He was the quote-unquote weakest link of the two, and they kind of tried to go with that last week with the Divide and Conquer fighting back, meaning the Shield with the Dogs of War.
Right.
No, he hasn't been pinned 1, 2, 3 at all.
And this is just, I'm kind of saying that leading into a few points here. We brought up that McIntyre's won the Intercontinental title before. Back then, of course, he was a lot smaller and is his first run. But back then, Vince McMahon stated that this is a future world champ. With everything they're building right now, not having him lose, beating Rollins this week again, it's only fair to me that we are going to move this guy up to go after that Universal title. What's up, great one?
So you think he'll get the fast track to the Universal title as opposed to having to work his way, have the IC title, and then going right to the main, the Universal title. I'm sorry.
They're hurting so bad for heels right now, and since they flopped the whole deal, Strowman going heel, which I've said from the beginning was a huge mistake.
Same. I thought it was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Strowman's eventually going to kind of fall off for a little bit. And then who's that next big heel to step up?
It could be him. All right, I get what you're saying.
I think it's got to be McIntyre.
Okay.
Unless it's Ambrose.
Oh.
That's our big card there.
All right, well, before we go on to that, and it's funny that you said that. It kind of reminded me. I almost skipped that. The one thing I'm going to say, after this segment, because later on, hold on. Reigns approached Ambrose. Okay.
I was about to say we skipped something, though.
What's that? Oh, yeah, I know.
Reigns and Ambrose thing. I was about to say we skipped that entirely.
Yeah. Well, Reigns approached Ambrose and asked if he was okay. Ambrose said he was fine. He said he was convinced that he had Strowman. Roman said he didn't want to risk. Also, he said that he didn't want him to get hurt before the match at Super Showdown. What's up, 13200? What's up, buddy? But here's the thing, and this is why I got my theory. Ambrose said before walking away that if he wasn't such a nice guy, he would be Universal Champion. Now, Rollins, when he said he could have been IC Champion, Rollins looked hurt. Okay? Now, you had a different reaction from Roman. If you rewatch that, it was like, really? I'll show you.
Yeah, because
everyone could think Mark
and Dean have actually battled each other for the WWE title back in Survivor Series. I want to say 2017. Griff can correct me on this.
It might have been 16. 17.
16 or 17.
Yeah, it had to be 16 because 17 AJ had it. He had it because he beat Jinder Mahal. you can mark my words right now. It's 11:27 Eastern Standard Time. It's October 6th. Okay, Roman Reigns is turning heel. I'm seeing it. The thing that everyone's been wanting, they want everyone to think it's going to be Ambrose. You already saw your turn with Rollins.
Yep.
You kind of saw your turn with him. I think they're going to finally pull the trigger. This is why I got giddy. I was like, they're finally going to do it. I think they're going to do it finally.
Yeah.
So mark my word. How I interpret it. This is art. Wrestling is art. How I interpret this, all the segments, all the matches, everything they did last week. It's not their turn for Ambrose. It is their turn for Roman. And you said you need heel power. Jeez, would you get people booing? You would get a natural hatred. A natural hatred for this guy. And I think he would thrive. And anyone that's gone as a heel, did his time as a heel, came out as a face. You seen it with The Rock. I said this last week, and I know some people would say, oh, you're repeating. But it is a point. The Rock did it. Stone Cold did it. Triple H has done it. Everyone. It was a big, any big superstar. And it started as a heel, came out as a face, and became a megastar.
Yep.
I see them doing the turn finally. I don't know how you feel. You can feel different, Magriff. What's your thoughts? I got to know. Oh, he's laughing at me. That's not a good thing.
Well, no, I'm hoping you're right. But that's my problem with this theory, is we're doing wishful thinking, I'm afraid, because we've gone down this road so many times. We all know it's the right move to do.
Yeah.
Will they finally pull the trigger on it? Man, I hope so. I don't see it happening. But it makes perfect sense that if they were going to do it, this is the right slate to pull this off.
And that's the thing, like they're just it's just that reaction. I didn't think that until I saw that reaction. It's that reaction, like it clicked in my head. It's like, oh, Rollins was hurt. This guy had a different reaction. And I've said it. You have said it. Everyone else has said it that's been involved. He comes off as a heel. How he talks, how he walks, everything. It's just how he presents himself. He's a heel.
Absolutely.
And in that, the way he reacted, I just felt that might happen. And it's a swerve that will really, even though people want it, it would still throw people off if that was ever to occur. But again, we got to see. It's probably they're thrown in your face and it ends up being Ambrose. Because it can make people think, oh, it's not going to happen, because why would they be so brazen with it? And it ends up happening. Yeah. Or you can finally see the switch. Because they're not turning Rollins. No way would they go down that path again. Because he did his time, and look how he came out. He's a superstar. Yep. All right, well, let's go along with that whole thing of natural booze. Now, this show was in Seattle. Let's play this clip. This is courtesy of WWE.com. Okay, I got to preface that for the podcast.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I should share sound with you. That would, that would make it good, wouldn't it? There you go.
Absolutely.
I apologize, guys. Here we go. We're going to go right back into it. Here we go. You can hear it, right?
Yep.
All right. Courtesy of WWE.com. This is a few minutes.
Anytime I'll walk with you, especially this Saturday night in Melbourne, Australia, when you and I team up to take on Bobby Lashley and John Cena.
I can't wait for this.
Man, you and I teaming up, it makes sense. Right? We respect each other. We have similar likes and dislikes. We're both fantastic competitors. Look, let's
Definitely.
We're both great guys. We're just a couple of great guys.
I love Kevin Owens.
But you know what doesn't make sense?
Yeah.
John Cena teaming with Bobby Lashley.
Very true.
Don't they have bad history?
Yeah. They actually battled once. I'll say it afterwards.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Oh, we missed the best line. Here. We'll go back. I'm sorry. Let's repeat that.
Kev, it doesn't make sense, you know? It's like having a basketball team in Seattle.
And the timing of that was just perfect.
Now let me know if you can hear that, guys.
Yeah, I can.
All right. No, I'm talking about in stream. Man, was that deafening, that booze.
Yeah. And that was actually the loudest time a segment's gotten booed in, I think, in WWE history.
Yeah, I have never seen this.
Elias hit a sensitive button. Got Seattle right in the feelings.
That's what poets do.
Hopefully you guys can hear that on stream.
I could hear it because I got you on the TV.
Now I get that.
Man.
The team here just doesn't make sense.
All right.
Clearly, you've really upset them here, but
And the booze going on and on there.
All right. Well, you get the gist of it. It was a moment. It was a huge moment. Because when can you remember, like, that kind of reaction? It just takes you back to the days of old,
Yeah.
you know? It was classic wrestling. Because, let's be honest, you get a non-reaction anymore in the universe. Like, you look at it, you look out into the crowd during a match, it's like you don't get that reaction from the crowd like you used to during the Attitude Era, the golden age of, Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania. But seeing that, Matt Griff, I have to ask you that, like, weren't you smiling from ear to ear just hearing that? Because as a fan of wrestling, you had to, like, appreciate and enjoy that moment.
What it made me think of is, first of all, how are you guys burying Elias
Well,
that
that's
he's getting this much heat?
Yeah.
But number two, that as soon as I heard those boos and the way it was going, first of all, you could see how excited Elias and Kevin Owens got because they knew they were doing their part perfect if they were getting that kind of reaction. And then it just took me back to WrestleMania 22 and the heat John Cena got against Triple H in that match. It just reminded me of that exact setup. And I was going, finally, we're getting some kind of heat for a heel versus cheering the heel. It was just, like you said, it's getting back to that old school, remind me of better times in wrestling, I guess.
Oh, definitely. It definitely reminded me of that time. And, yeah, like you said, a guy that's pretty much being buried creatively got the biggest reaction you have seen in a long, long time. Like, during the time I wasn't watching wrestling, I still popped in here and there to see what was going on. And you never saw videos like this pop up, like, oh, look at this reaction. But that video that I just showed you, over 2 million views, and that was not even a week. And that's probably not crazy. That's probably not crazy as opposed to other videos, but this is a niche market where a lot of people don't follow wrestling. They still get 2 million views. That's saying a lot, especially for a video like that. And I know this is something that isn't worthy of probably to cover. To me, I thought it was because of the reaction. Something you just don't see anymore. Or hear, actually, is the better word to say. But you two, what did you think of that moment? I'm sorry, we kind of skipped over you with that.
Yeah. It was just probably the loudest booze segment I've ever heard in the WWE history.
Oh,
I've actually did check. That is actually the number one 6 times it's been booed. Like the whole crowd just started booing them.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember from the thing.
And just to go back with what they said with Cena and Lashley. Cena and Lashley did have a battle back in 2008 at the Great American Bash.
So they tried to go with him with the push. All right. Yeah, that was kind of like during the time I was like slowly tapping out. It was getting to that point. All right. Well, the only thing I can remember, like a loud boo, and I guess you guys probably can have a moment if you've been to a live show. Mine was probably Royal Rumble 04. And I've been to plenty of house shows. I've been King of the Ring 93, WrestleMania 15, SummerSlam 90, Survivor Series 06, and of course Royal Rumble 04. And out of all the house shows I've been to, the reaction when HBK and Triple H, when they it was announced there was a draw on their last man standing, dude, did that arena erupt. You could not hear anything but boos. And of course, we're the city that's known for it, but still, it was a loud pop. Like, it was just, people were booing like crazy. It kind of reminded me of that movement, but I think it was even more deafening than what I witnessed in Philadelphia. Do you guys ever have a moment like that, or?
Nope.
I guess mine, like I said, I'd go back to WrestleMania 22, or really anytime Sergeant Slaughter, house show, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. Anytime Sergeant Slaughter came out, you would hear those kind of boos, especially when he was attacking the U.S. and burning the U.S. flag, stuff like that.
Yeah,
he caught a lot of heat.
Yeah, it's something you won't see a lot today. But I'm sorry, I should have said it like personal experience, like a show that you've been to. Have you been to anything with a pop like that, or nah?
Biggest one for me, I couldn't tell you the year, but it was the early 90s, and it was Sergeant Slaughter in Amarillo, Texas. Just a little house show. And I've never heard that little Civic Center blow a roof off and booze until Sergeant Slaughter came out.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, that definitely was a gimmick like no other. I mean, he was an Iraqi sympathizer during the Iraqi war. Something, again, they just would not do. The closest thing they'd done since that moment was probably Muhammad Hassan, and they whacked that immediately anyway because of the heat they were getting. All right, so moving along from old school to, well, old school. Somewhat old school. Shawn Michaels is back with a promo. Basically just came out to discuss on how personal this whole rivalry has gotten. I don't think it's been as personal as, I don't know, maybe Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, but still, they said it was personal. He later was interrupted by Kane with the music. Of course, he was like, all right, where's he at? Turns around just to be chokeslammed by Kane. Then The Undertaker appeared to attempt to give Shawn Michaels a tombstone, was later saved by Triple H. And then the Brothers of Destruction hit DX with the double chokeslam, finally ending it with The Undertaker giving Triple H the tombstone. Now, this was the last encounter before their match at Super Showdown. We said eventually they were going to be in the ring together. And yes, that was the other point I'm going to get to, 13200. Let's go with that right away, actually. HBK bald. Now, does anyone feel old now seeing him bald? Because I remember the day where he was the young gun in the business. He's bald now. Matt, how do you feel about seeing that?
It kind of like you just said, man. All of a sudden, I felt my age looking at him. I was going, crap. What happened to the good old days? I'm used to that long hair, and now all of a sudden he's bald, and honestly, look like you just got out of the hospital or something. But it was weird, but to each their own, I guess. That's all I can say.
Yeah, but the thing I noticed, that I knew something was up at that point, because when he was wearing a hat, you looked underneath and you saw something like a black pad, and I'm like, isn't that the thing? And I was like, because Nolan Ryan had it one time. Of course, that's a Texan thing, you know. Isn't that usually a thing that people wear if they're bald, so they don't get, well, you know what I mean. Like the rub. But when I saw that, I was like, whoa. That was like the first thing, like, what's that about? And when the hat came off, I was like, oh, that's why. Yeah, that was the first thing I got from it. But
it wasn't the first time I've seen this, because he's actually been rocking this for a while now. But it's so weird to see him come out and do that. I really thought before he got in ring again, he'd try to grow his hair back out, but guess not.
Yeah.
No, guess not. It was very surprising seeing my childhood idol bald. It's a sign of age, and I'm only 35, and right there I felt like I was 50. I was right with him. I was right there with him. That's how I felt in that moment watching that, because I was a kid when he was like the up-and-comer, going for the Intercontinental Championship. He's a newbie, breaking from the Rockers. That was 1992. What was
It
that?
was almost like the symbol of the golden era being over right there.
I think this whole match is saying that.
Yeah. It was kind of hard. I think that hurt worse than knowing that it was Undertaker and Triple H's last match together. I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we just killed the mood here, but yeah, it is depressing. But of course, let's go back to the actual segment. Did this segment add anything to the final build before the match at Super Showdown? We'll start with you, Mad Griff.
Absolutely not.
No build.
It was
Just a conflict.
no. It's the same thing we've seen over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
We get kind of layers put on, interviews. It's great to see them out in the ring, but as for building for the match, no. I'm just as excited about it as I was when they first announced it. So,
All right.
Same here.
All right. Well, again, given that this event already happened, we're not going to be covering it until Tuesday, though. Don't know the results. Don't want to know the results until then. I'm still an old school guy. I don't like spoilers. I'm not that type of guy. I've always been that way. Back in the age of the internet, when it started to rise in 2000 till now, I still have that old school mindset that I don't know what happens. I don't want to know until I watch it myself. But, I mean, given by that, yeah, I was excited for the build. I liked it because of the confrontation. Because you finally got them in the same ring, and there was some sort of physical activity between the two guys, the two participants in this match. Of course, The Undertaker came out on top. Of course, it's going to have everyone thinking this is what's going to happen at Super Showdown. Of course, I know the event already happened. I guess I'll see it probably tomorrow or Monday when I watch the event myself. But I thought it was a good ending to the final build, because you finally got them fighting in the ring, one another. Now, before I go on, do you have anything to add to this, YouTuber William?
No, but I get to see what if it's for the good. Is it gonna be good for the final match between these two?
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good, but I got a feeling this ain't gonna be the final match. They're probably gonna pull like one more match out of it.
All right. Well, you know what?
That's the next thing.
Well, real quick, and we'll expand on this real quick, and then I guess that would be it, and then we'll go on to the next show. Someone in chat said, going back to Shawn Michaels with the baldness and blah, blah, blah. Chris Carson in chat on Twitch says, that's exactly why he shouldn't be wrestling. Now, I'm in favor of that unpopular opinion. I feel Shawn Michaels should not be wrestling. Because if anyone thinks that they're going to get that Undertaker HBK match that they saw in 2009 and 10, you're sorely mistaken. It's not going to happen. You're not going to see that. And you'd be greatly disappointed if you think that's how it's going to be. And again, I don't know how the show today, the match with Triple H and Undertaker, how that went. But I could at least say this. You're not going to get that style of match. It's not going to happen.
You ain't getting that kind of stuff.
It shouldn't. Well, it shouldn't happen. And another thing I saw in chat, and we'll address this, and then we'll move on. I'm tired of seeing them pimp the Legends name because they refuse to build their current guys. I totally agree with that. They had to use.
I was about to say that.
They had to use Undertaker to get social media. Everyone talking about them again. The Monday after All In, everyone was talking about how big All In. It was a great show, the greatest show they ever saw. And again, they had to use a legend instead of a current guy to get them talking about their product again. And I'm sure when SmackDown goes to Fox, they're going to do the same thing for the first couple weeks, just to get the numbers. It is funny. Yeah, it's okay to look back in time, but when you're pimping them because you can't trust your current roster to do that same thing, what does that say? Like, would you take it as a wrestler on that roster? I wouldn't take it in a positive way.
Same here.
Talk to Elias and find out his opinion.
Yeah, you're totally right about that. All right, well,
Or Finn Balor, either one.
Yeah, oh Jesus, Finn Balor, yeah, great talent, and really Bobby Roode. You know what? Yeah. I think we should start a foundation. Like we get Sarah McLachlan to freaking talk, and for 50 cents, for 50 cents a day, you can help these guys get a good storyline. You know what? I'm gonna do a video with that, with the sad music. Where you want to play the wrist violin, and Yeah, we'll think of something, and we'll put it on YouTube. So stay tuned for that. I gotta get creative with that and get our creative team on that one. All right, so let's move along. So we go on to go on to SmackDown. Real quick, we're gonna go right down with YouTuber and then McGriff. Let's rate Raw from 1 to 5 this week. William, what do you got? 1 to 5.
Full.
Oh, 4 for the Full Horsemen. Yeah, there you go, brother. What do you got, McGriff?
Oh, 3.
Wow.
It wasn't nothing to get excited about, but it wasn't horrible, so I'll give it right in the middle of the road.
You know what? This guy has to be a stickler. But you know what? I'm going to be more with YouTuber on this one. This was a better go-home show. Yeah. No pun intended. All right. Go-home show compared to the last pay-per-view, okay? It was way better. Dude, you had
better than last week's.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, because the leading up to the last pay-per-view, that show was awful. This one was a huge step up. I'm actually going to give it a 4 this time. This one was a 4. Great show for Raw. Now, we're done with Raw. Let's go to SmackDown.
Now that we're done with Raw, it is time for SmackDown Live Week in Review.
All right, and we're back. Here we go. SmackDown. Raw had a great show. Can SmackDown follow suit? Right away, it goes into the opening segment. General Manager Paige came out and addressed Samoa Joe's actions the week before. She told the universe that Styles' family was okay after, he rang the doorbell and all of a sudden the show ended. She later said Joe was arrested for trespassing, which is odd because that's not. Then Styles showed up at his home. He said he wanted to stay home until he knew Joe was on his way to Australia. Styles also wanted to address that Paige wanted Joe fired, and he fought for that not to happen. Finally, Styles said he would make it back from Australia, but Joe wouldn't. He threatened to bury him alive. Guys, this is the final build. Obviously, it wasn't much of a build, but to me, I thought it told a story. I think it added a little bit. You guys could feel different, so I'm going to ask you right away, McGriff. What did you think of the final build to this match? Was there something?
Loved it.
You loved it?
Absolutely loved it. And the only reason I love it is because it was less. They've had the storyline going for a while now. We don't need some huge take up 30 minutes time of the show. Something slow, easy, get to the point. This is what happened. This is why this is a problem. Let's move forward.
And we always say simple says more. Just like the best matches are the best stories told in the ring are the ones with fewer moves. And just like you said here, not so much. Didn't take a half hour, but it did it all. It said it all for you. And it was a great build. Do you feel the same way, William?
Yep.
Yeah, you feel the same way?
Right.
All right. Well, the one thing I got to say from that segment, given by the time that AJ Styles first entered the WWE, we all know he was a strong, promo guy, performer. Great performer in the ring, not so much on the stick. Dude, given by that segment, can you see a big improvement in his, in his performance when it comes to promos?
Styles, yes.
You said? What about you, Matt?
Absolutely. I mean, to me, we all know what AJ Styles was when he left New Japan coming over WWE. He's the greatest in-ring performer currently in any promotion. Maybe Omega, there's argument there. What we didn't know, we knew he was okay on a mic. We didn't know if he was one of the elite category type guys.
Yeah.
Through this feud, he showed me that maybe he is one of those elite guys on the mic because he's really selling this role so well.
Yeah.
Highly impressed.
Great one in chat. Again, people that listen to this on the podcast, we are live on Twitch, YouTuber, and Mixer every Saturday night at 11 p.m. So if you want to talk with us live, you can go on there. Go Home Wrestling Show. And in chat, the great one says, AJ actually credited Cena with helping him with promos. As much as I'm not a fan of him, but yeah, he is a good promo guy. And you know what? Yeah. Being a veteran, helping another veteran, that's one thing you can say positive about Cena. I was never a big fan of his in-ring, style and all, his performance, but he is a good promo guy. That's good. But
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But given that, that segment, man, it just, you saw the emotion. You saw, like, even in the ring that week before, like, you saw the general fear in him. He actually sold that pretty good. There was fear. Like, oh my God, he's in front of my family's, my house. He's in front of my house. So, like, you saw the fear there, and you saw the emotion from him. Like, he was emotional, like he's holding back. But you're going to say, well, again, I know the show happened, but we may see that emotion. Let's pretend it's Friday night, okay? Tomorrow at Super Showdown. There you go. All right. Going on to... What's that?
The next part with Ty Dillinger and Randy Orton.
Oh, yes, and that's what we're going to cover next
I
now.
actually couldn't sleep that night after seeing that.
Oh, really? Okay, that's not a good thing, I guess. Well, anyways, let's go right into it. Ty Dillinger, Randy Orton. Everyone's been wondering since that segment in the promo truck, or the production truck, who was going to be the next victim. Then we saw last week that Randy Orton attacked Ty Dillinger, and of course he was asked in the backstage, is he your next victim? And he went with a little, like, yeah, you kidding me? But of course Ty demanded a match for what happened the week before. He did get it. And, well, he took it to Randy in the early part of the match. I know, misspelled the word. And then started to shift in favor of Randy, and he finally gained control after that draping DDT onto the floor outside of the ring. From there, he removed the turnbuckle pad, stuck Dillinger's finger in the bolt, and twisted it.
That's what creeps me out.
Oh, man. Again, we'll get into it. I got my feelings. I'll start with you, YouTuber. What did you think of that segment?
Gave me the creeps.
Gave you the creeps? I guess that's what we were supposed to do. Anything to add to that? Or are you good?
I'm good.
Oh, you're good. You're just creeped out by the segment. All right, we got you, Magriff. What's your feeling on it?
This was such a good segment. And here's my feeling about this. I was kind of let down that his next target was going to be Ty Dillinger.
Yeah.
Because, like, why? Right?
Yeah.
Ty Dillinger kind of showed me in this segment why him. This is Ty Dillinger's make or break it chance right now.
Yeah.
And he knocked it out of the park Tuesday night. Now, as for the finger incident, I love Randy Orton, man. I mean, first the screwdriver, now using the turnbuckle with the finger.
He's a sick fuck.
He makes you want to hate him. There is nobody right now selling a better heel role in the old school way than Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Hats off to him. That was fantastic.
And I'm with you. That was a great segment. And again, he had to one up that. And in a way, I think he did. And it was simple. It was something simple. He didn't have to, like, put him in a car and then smash a trailer or semi-truck into it. He didn't have to do anything like that extreme.
Did the Bret Hart.
Yeah, I mean, what did they do? I don't remember that.
They put Bret Hart up against the limo, and I think they backed up another limo into him.
Yeah, see, that's over the top. What Randy Orton did was simple, and you got a reaction. You got a reaction with the ear the first time. You got a reaction with the screwdriver at the Hell in a Cell. I mean, and then what he did to Ty Dillinger. Now, as far as that, you said he knocked out of the park, and this is a make or break for him. If he makes this work, he does a great job. I see him going on with the company. If he fails, it might not be a good thing. You might not even see him on main event. But given by this first couple weeks, how would you rate him as far as his performance so far? From 1 to 5. If you would have to rate it from 1 to 5, how would you rate that? As far as Ty Dillinger. We know Randy Orton, but Dillinger.
Chris, you go first.
4. Highly impressed with what he's doing with this so far. I want to see him do more promo work and see what he does on that side of it. But as for in the ring, 4. Highly impressed.
I'm with you because, you got to see what he's got to do on the stick. William, what do you have? All right, you're going with the full horseman. Yeah. All right. Now, because that's the big thing. Because now they kind of gave this before with another guy, Kofi Kingston. Yeah. And they said the moment that went to shit is when he forgot to spout on the RKO. When Randy Orton RKO'd him and he forgot about it. And then you hear him go, stupid, 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 breaking character, calling him pretty much dummy, stupid. He called him stupid, and they said that was the end of that. That pretty much killed that one. Hopefully, he doesn't make a mistake like that. But given by the first 2 weeks, hey, I'm looking forward to it. At first, I was like, really? But there was a reason why they threw him on TV recently.
Yeah, he went from someone who's been in the company probably almost a little bit longer than him to someone who's just been in the company for like, what, 2-3 years?
Yeah.
Give or take?
Yeah. Again.
Come on, Randy.
Well, here's the thing. What do you guys, given by what we saw the first 2 weeks, what do you think is the reason for Randy Orton to attack Ty Dillinger? Is it the veteran going after the rookie, thinking they're disrespectful? It's that whole millennial thing. Let's shit on that. Do you feel it's something like that, or is there something else that you see?
Veteran dogs the rookie.
Yeah. What do you think, Matt Griff?
Against new school.
Old school versus new school. Okay. What do you got, Matt Griff? You feel it's the same way, or is there something else there?
No, I think there's going to be something else there, because if it was old school versus new, explain why he went after Jeff Hardy then.
Okay,
So my thinking on this, sorry, got to call it as I see it. My thing is, I think he's trying to say, I'm going to take out the weak links of the show. Obviously, everybody knows my feelings about Jeff Hardy. He wasn't doing anything on SmackDown.
No, he wasn't. And again, it's just because you're seeing a former shell of himself, because all the bumps they took over the years, they just can't perform in that. And it's no disrespect to Jeff Hardy, just the time has passed. It's ran its course. He's done.
Yeah, and my deal with Jeff Hardy, I loved him throughout the years.
Oh, so did I. Yeah. Not so
this
much.
Run,
yeah.
it's just, it was time to hang it up.
Yeah.
And I see the same kind of trend. Ty Dillinger was floating in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I don't even know if he was.
Dark matches.
I don't think he was even capable of doing dark matches. I mean, you didn't see the guy hardly.
Yeah.
So I think, like I was saying earlier, it's kind of clean out the trash, and then they're throwing people in there with a proven veteran. It's make or break time. And honestly, Randy Orton is just doing such a good job selling Jeff Hardy, selling Ty Dillinger. It might end up saving Ty Dillinger's shop.
Well, here's the thing. If he was to succeed, in Randy Orton, if he was to defeat him when this is all said and done, would this be like, all right, this is the end of this character, and he could come back repackaged after a few months? Or is this like, okay, if they went with the route that Randy Orton took him out, is he done with the company? Because you don't know where he is, as far as his contract. Are they doing this? They pretty much were like, all right, we're not going to continue with you after your contract is up, and we'll take you out in the right way. We'll put you up against a veteran, and you'll go out that way.
In all honesty, we used to have John Cena kind of as the measuring stick around WWE. He's not around anymore. Randy Orton is now that measuring stick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they're throwing him in here. I do believe his job is on the line.
Yeah.
Is he going to beat Randy Orton in the end of this? No. No chance of that happening.
No chance in hell. I had to say that.
But they have to see.
No chance in hell.
But they have to see what Ty Dillinger can do. Can he be involved in a real rivalry? Can he be involved in storylines? If he is, maybe he could become a tag team champ. Maybe he could become a mid-card champ.
Yeah.
We have to see what he can do, because so far, since his start with company, we haven't seen him do anything.
Yeah. And again, it's all about emotion. You want that emotion from both guys. You got to be able to tell this story. And we saw it with Randy Orton. You saw what he did. He's telling a story. He's being who he is. He's taking out the so-called, you quoted it, it's probably right, the weaklings of the roster. Let's see what kind of emotion you bring out of, Ty Dillinger. Is it enough to gain sympathy from the fans, to take his side? And that's the thing that goes on with what you say. The reaction, how he could get the fans on his side. If he's able to pull that off, gain that sympathy, going up against the veteran, the Viper, Randy Orton, whether if it's win or loss, the fact if he was to get the fans on his side instead of a non-reaction, that would say a lot for what his future in the company. And it kind of reiterate what you're saying, but yeah, it's. I can't wait to see where this goes. I'm actually looking forward to it. Let's see what he can do.
Absolutely. when it first got announced, I was kind of like, oh, God, really?
Yeah.
And then, especially after this past Tuesday night, Randy Orton is who Randy Orton is. We know what to expect, even though he's kind of gone a sicker, twisted way than
I love it.
even he's been. But Ty Dillinger, man, the way he's selling this to me has been so impressive because you can tell by the way he's fighting, his fighting style and everything else, the guy is fighting out of desperation. He's up against a giant essentially, and he knows he's fighting for his job.
Yeah.
So hey, my hat's off to him, and I'll support him. I hope he does well in this and continues on because I do think he is a great talent.
And it's funny that you said that and how we feel about it, because when you go on social media, you're getting the exact opposite. And this is the problem with the WWE universe. How can you not sit there and just take it in and go, let's see what the guy could do? You may be entertained. You might get a great storyline. And it could bring something out even more than what you would expect out of Dillinger. And for all you know, it could be something like this goes well, you could put him in the program with Nakamura. That's... You know, I mean, of course, that's maybe a little extreme, but I'm just saying, sit back and enjoy it. Stop trying to dictate everything. And it annoys the hell out of me when they do that.
It's not extreme. What you're saying is on point, because if we had the same social media outlets and all that kind of stuff back in the early 90s, what would have happened with Steve Austin going from WCW? We wouldn't have seen him again.
Nah.
That's your prime example right there, because if we had the same technology back then, everybody would have been bashing on Austin in those days. And he turned out to be possibly the greatest superstar in the history of the business.
He was carrying the company. I don't care what people say. You had a lot of people on that roster, but Stone Cold fucking carried that company. Dude, if you put a bar... They had toilet paper, bar of soap with his logo on it, and people were buying it. They weren't doing that with any other superstar during that time. So... Yeah, I would say he's the greatest, and for the fact that he took a company that was on life support and brought it out to the point that they got on top, and they eventually took it over. But, of course, that was the other talent that helped then, but it was on his back that got him to that point. All right.
By the way, speaking of Steve Austin, back when I drank quite a bit of beer.
What?
He put out his own IPA. Go out and try that. That's pretty dang good.
Yeah, I remember there was an episode on his show with Eric Bischoff, and they were talking about that. He had his own thing. They were working on it.
It was actually really, really good. I was expecting kind of a crappy tasting beer, but it was actually excellent.
I've only had one beer my whole entire life.
Oh, really?
I had that one beer. Yeah. I think it was the exact day I turned 21. That was my first beer.
Yeah, I drink on occasion. I'm not that much into it anymore.
Right now, I just drink root beer.
Yeah, well, this is my beer.
That's what I'm putting next to me.
Iced tea, coffee.
I got to see it on the podcast.
All right, we're done with this, so let's move along.
This big iced tea bottle.
You had the great film called One Night in China. But you also, I'm wondering, is One Night in Milwaukee just as good? Well, of course, we're going to find out. Rusev, Aiden English, and Lana. Great big segment. The week before, Aiden English came out and says that he had video incriminating Lana of infidelity, I guess is the way you could say it. Of course, Rusev came out with Lana to call out Aiden English and make him reveal that so-called video he had of Lana. Aiden then came out and showed the video. Of course, the video revealed English going over a promo until Lana knocked on the door and came in the room. But the last thing you heard on that video was Lana saying, "I want you," before it ended. Of course, Aiden said he cut it off so he can make money selling it off to TMZ or any other news outlet. Of course, wasn't much of an end because segment ended with Rusev arguing with Lana, but nonetheless.
And then chasing chasing it, trying to catch up to Aiden English backstage.
Yeah. Well, he was looking for him, because he ran off. What did you think of the segment, YouTuber? I mean. Was it overhyped? Was it a good payoff to the week before?
It was pretty close to the payoff from last week. And when I heard the One Night in Milwaukee, the first thing that came to my mind was the One Night in Bangkok.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Don't ask I know that.
Okay. No, I'm not going to ask. All right, Matt Griff, what did you think of that segment with the trio?
I thought about turning off my TV.
Wow, you were upset.
Stupid storyline to me. There were so many ways they could have gone with this feud, and to me, they just blew the whole thing up Tuesday night.
Okay. Can I give you a theory?
Absolutely.
All right, this is my theory. What do you got coming up in 2 weeks?
The Crown Jewel?
No, SmackDown 1000.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so you got the Evolution. Then you're going to have a guy that the show has originated from a line from this wrestler, The Rock.
Wow.
Now, there might have been a reason why they cut that off. Couldn't there be a way that they because they had The Rock coming back? And remember the line he said back in 2016 when he was walking the backstage, coming from the car to the stage, the stage, and at one point he bumped into Lana, and he says, "Oh, remember the night in Milwaukee?" And I showed you the Milwaukee. It was some sexual maneuver, and of course he was interrupted by Rusev. A lot of people thought of that moment when they heard One Night with the Milwaukee. When he referenced Milwaukee, a lot of people referenced that promo or what The Rock said to that. So, is there a way they can still? The reason he cut it off is because there is an involvement with The Rock. Yeah. There was probably nothing between them two. She probably asked him to look over Rusev as she runs, goes off with The Rock. You get what I'm saying? Is that because he cuts it off after "I want you," and it could be like, "I want you to look after Rusev. I'm going to go off. I'm going to do something." It could be anything. Like I come up with an excuse, but really it's to run off with The Rock. And if you have The Rock there, I don't know. This is how I see it. I could be completely off. But I know you weren't too happy with the segment. But I think there was a reason into why they cut that video off and why it was like a conclusion to that.
Yeah.
He doesn't like my theory.
Don't make me make another logo.
God, why would you even get The Rock into that mess? I know where your theory's coming from, and it makes perfect sense. But if I'm going to bring The Rock back, I'm not going to waste him on Aiden English and a guy that can't win a freaking title.
Yeah, I get your point with that, but this is SmackDown with the little wacky ways. They can be a little wacky at times. But it could be in the middle of a legendary segment, and they just happen to interrupt. Like, they could somehow thrust themselves into, like, it could be something with him and Evolution. They're going at it. Next thing you know, Aiden comes out. Aiden will come out, and it's just like, they could just thrust themselves in that promo is pretty much what I'm saying. I mean, go ahead.
Here's my biggest problem.
All right.
If they're going to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're not going to do that. It's a very good possibility. Actually, the theory makes a lot of sense. But if they do this, they're not going to have The Rock end up looking weak.
No.
We're going to turn this into the full-on burial of Rusev, and it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I get your point. I'm just saying, like, they have done wackier things on SmackDown as of late.
Right.
Dude, they have great writing, but they always throw that little wacky thing here and there. Like that whole, honestly, Ty Dillinger with R-Truth. That was a little wacky thing, but there was a reason for it. I guess they were planting the seed of putting Dillinger back on TV, and look what happened.
Right.
But I don't know. To me, it's like, okay, everyone thought of that same line when he mentioned Milwaukee. Okay? You got SmackDown 1000. It's just the timing of it just makes sense to me. That's, of course, what I see. It could not even happen. I mean, they might not even be in the building when this happens. Okay? To me, that's how I see it. Everyone else can feel different about it, but it is a little wacky, but again, I guess the only way we can find out is when SmackDown 1000 happens.
Yeah.
So you're not a fan of it. I thought it was decent. It wasn't much of a payoff, but I think there was a reason for it. William, anything to add before we go on?
It was good.
Oh, you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
All right, we got one guy that enjoyed it.
Yeah. Hey.
What did you like about it the most, though, with that?
One night in Bangkok thing.
Oh. That's right.
Good.
That's right. You did say that.
God.
I'm sorry. You did reference that you enjoyed it. Okay. My bad. All right. Well, let's move along.
It was a good thing. Also, I hope you guys didn't see that in the background.
No, that's okay. No, you didn't. We didn't see anything. All right. So we're going to move along from okay segment to a match that I mean,
Griff, by the way, walked away.
oh, did he?
Yeah, I'm looking right now. He's like.
Oh, he did walk away. I wonder if something happened. Well, we'll go on anyway. We'll film him once he comes back. Of course, you got Daniel Bryan, Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin, the night before, tweeted that he's like being utilized right, and if you give him an opportunity, he would seize the opportunity, and that was probably to set up a match with Daniel Bryan just to get Daniel Bryan in a match. To me, was a pretty good match. A couple of spots where Benjamin kind of slowed up the pace. It wasn't a botch, but you seen that the age got to him. There was a couple of spots Benjamin showed there. After Bryan went off on the universe about them attacking Brie for the accident with Liv the week before, what does he end up doing? He does a headbutt. And, of course, Benjamin goes to avoid it and still connect it. So when you attack the universe, we'll get into that. We'll get back to that in a second. Of course, the announcers did cover that up quickly. And went back and forth until Bryan gained the upper hand with the yes kicks that prompted Miz to interfere, causing Benjamin to get the roll up on Bryan for the win. Then the Miz goes off to attack Bryan, ending it with a skull crushing finale. Great or not great? Final build to that for that match, that Super Showdown. We'll start with that.
It was pretty good. Up to a good feud. Is it going to be good for the Super Showdown, which is this Saturday? For you. Probably.
Okay, what did you think of that? Between the Miz and Bryan, because he had, of course, the week before Miz was taunting Bryan.
Yeah.
Bryan was kind of doing the same thing back.
Yeah. I was surprised that Dan Bryan didn't do something to mock the Miz for payback for stealing his stuff last week.
Yeah. All right.
Also, Miz back.
Magriff, do you have anything on this? What do you think? Was there anything to it, or was it just a basic, build?
I mean, did it really add much for the rivalry? No. Is it always good to have Daniel Bryan and The Miz do something together? Absolutely.
It is gold.
Their little section of it was okay for me. As for the match itself, I enjoyed the match. I was actually really impressed with Shelton Benjamin. There were those spots you were talking about.
Yeah.
But other than that, Shelton Benjamin showcased that he does still have talent, and he should
without
be
a doubt.
somebody credible inside the SmackDown roster, and he's been somebody that's been forgotten big time.
Yeah, it definitely has been. Despite all that, I mean, I thought it was a pretty decent match. But the thing I want to talk about real quick, and then we'll go on forward with the show, was how Daniel Bryan attacked the universe. Again, you're going to defend your wife. But isn't it funny? I just found it weird that same day, you go off and do a match, and then you pretty much botched in a way. I don't think you could blame Shelton for that. Shelton moved out of the way and still connected. Mm-hmm. I mean, what did you think of that? I know it's not really much. But what did you think of that? I just thought it was funny. The irony is like, I'm going to go after the universe, and then, I botched too.
Yeah. I really don't have too many thoughts on it. It's just kind of like, seriously? Really?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I guess we got live TV for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. But the one thing I will say is, with his condition, what he's, had to go through to get back on the roster. That moment, it was like, oh, boy, he connected. And I know there's going to be an incident, too, where he's... Yeah, but the thing was that he connected with his head. Yeah. And how they're going to do these protocols of the concussions after every match. I'm sure they were really crowded over him after that incident.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, obviously, I thought it was a decent build. It was kind of basic, but, again, you're right. When them two together, something that's basic was gold. It didn't have to do much. And, again, The Miz with the upper hand, giving people the thought that he's going to beat Bryan again because they won the mixed tag match. They won Miz won the first match at SummerSlam. Could it happen again? Again, this is going off because I haven't seen the show yet. All right? So I'm not going to say it. We'll find out this Saturday. I'm not going to say that. All right. So we're going to go on to the final thing of the night, the final confrontation between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Of course, Becky comes out and shows a video of her recent triumphs over Flair. Becky then said Super Showdown shouldn't be about Triple H versus Undertaker, but about her first title defense against Charlotte. Then she revealed a Super Showdown poster with Becky Lynch standing on top of Flair, raising the title over her head. Of course, that's from the attack the week before that they showed backstage. Flair then interrupted and rushed the ring, taking the fight to Lynch, despite, of course, of boos from the fans. And then she applied the figure 4 on the ring apron, eventually stood tall, leaving Lynch to grasp her title in anger to wrap up the show. First thing, I'll ask Magriff, what did you think of the final showdown between these two going into Super Showdown?
Fantastic. Becky Lynch, man. I don't know if there's somebody better at selling their role right now than Becky Lynch. It'd be hard pressed to find them. She's doing a great job, and obviously these two have done a lot with each other in the past. They're good friends outside of being in the ring.
Yeah.
They just have that chemistry working together. And when it first started, I wasn't too excited about watching their matches. I cannot wait to watch this match. I was gonna say once you were finished, out of all these matches, and you have that great that emotional build with AJ Styles with Samoa Joe, but out of all of them, for first time ever, I'm more emotionally invested into that women's match. It's simple and to the point. People aren't too accepting of the heel and face turn between these two, but they're still telling the story. They're still knocking it out of the park, despite the reaction of the fans. It's all about the story, and they're knocking it out of the park. There were a couple things that Flair kind of screwed up, where she had opportunities to really give Becky some heat. But overall, they were doing a good job, and I can't wait to see this match. Yeah. Well, and the only thing I'll say on the Charlotte side, it's almost like she's unsure of her role. I understand she's a better heel than face. We all know this.
Like her father.
Big time.
Could she be a great face? Absolutely.
Yeah.
If she just quits doubting herself. I think she's lacking confidence on the face side, and that's kind of hurting both of them in this storyline a little bit.
Yeah, but when you're a person that's naturally been a heel and been a heel for such a period of time, and just like her father, that just was a natural heel. He even went on record as saying that he did not like the times where he was a face. He just didn't feel comfortable. To him, he was a heel. Yeah. And when you're a heel, the old school mentality is once you're a heel, always a heel. Of course, that's changed. It's a different atmosphere now. But to me, if it could have been anyone, I think it should have been someone else. Because Charlotte's, as far as the face, they're having great matches together, but it should have been when Becky was a face. Yeah. That would have been a lot better. But
I was surprised to see Charlotte do a figure 4 instead of the figure 8.
Well, of course, twice as good. That's the. Yeah. I guess that's the reason for it, because she does that little pop-up thing. But no, my point of that is just she's in Roman Reigns' situation.
Yeah.
When Becky first said that she was the queen, this was a moment where Charlotte could have got her more heat. But instead of doing something, she kind of just said, you hear her whisper, you saw her mouth it, but you didn't hear it. You would never be the queen. It was moments like that could have got her more heat and didn't.
Probably.
That's where she screwed up.
You know what
screwed up.
What's that?
You know what WWE should do
What's
anytime somebody does a heel or a face turn? Set up a conference call with the Big Show. Nobody's had more practice.
Yep.
He can teach them all.
Oh my God. There was a video on YouTube where it shows every turn he's had in his career, and it's a total of 27. How many years has he been in the WWE?
28, I think?
19. He joined in February of 99. He's approaching his 20th year in the company. Okay? And that guy has had 27 turns in 20 years. But it goes.
That don't even touch WCW side, because you think of how many times he flipped there too.
Probably a dozen. WCW. Yeah, probably a dozen easily, going in and out of the NWO. What's that?
Yeah.
Someone's gonna probably look this up.
Well, the one thing I'm going to say,
27 to WWE, probably like 26, 28 in WCW.
There's another best of the best tournaments. We could throw out all the big shows turns. And see
Oh,
which
yeah.
one's the best one.
all right, we'll do that in another episode of the Go Home Wrestling Show. But you know what's funny that you said that? Like, what's the one thing they could do? As far as if you go heel, let's see. Change your entrance, change your music, change your attire, and of course, change your whole attitude, everything.
Yeah.
The reason people are not probably accepting Roman Reigns as a face because he never changed his persona of the Shield. At one point, yeah, the Shield was over, but they were also technically heels at one point. So I guess people see that and put two and two together. Same thing with Lynch. I think if Lynch would have changed her attire, her entrance, everything, or even she was to come out with no entrance like Tommaso Ciampa, something, I think it would help her a little bit. And Flair, yeah, I think she should change a couple things herself. But I don't see her being the face. She should remain heel.
Yeah.
This program should have happened.
I was dead heel by a mile.
Yeah, this angle should have happened a lot sooner the other way around. That's my feeling on it. And they would still knock it out of the park. I hate to dissect it, and I'm still emotionally invested. It's more because of Lynch. Lynch is really selling this match for me. Anything else before we move on?
Nope.
All right, let's go right into it. We're done with SmackDown. Let's rate it right now, 1 to 5. We'll start with you, YouTuber William. 1 to 5. What do you got? Oh, you're going 4. Nice. All right, you're going 4 again. What do you got, Magriff?
I'm going to go right in line with my Raw prediction. I'm going to give it a 3. It's the same reasoning. It wasn't over the top good. It wasn't horrible. So I'll stick right in the middle.
Okay, this one, you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Mark your calendars. I'm with Magriff with a 3. Raw was the better show this week. Who would have thunk that? And let me remind you, the second hour was the lowest rated hour they ever had since being on USA. Ever.
Wow.
So that segment with the boos wasn't seen. It had to be seen on freaking social media. It had to be seen on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's how people saw that. It wasn't during that, because during that hour where that happened, it was the lowest rated hour they ever had. And despite all that, you had 3 great matches. I think there was a great ending to the show. I was very surprised that Raw was the better show this week. And given we'll always complain about Raw. All right.
I'm more surprised that you said it. That's what blows me away.
Well, I mean, you got to call for what it is. You can't just always hate.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, so let's go right to it, folks. We cover Raw. We cover SmackDown. Now it's time for the
It's
list.
Power Rankings time. Let's see what the guys put at number 1 in the segment we call
You just made the list!
The List.
All right, here we go. This is pretty much simple. The list. It's our weekly segment, our version of the WWE Power Rankings. From 5 to 1, who do we think was the best? Of course, I know we were last second with you, YouTuber, adding you onto the show with the cancellation of D-Shep, so it's okay. You don't have to give a list this time.
I already got mine.
Oh, you have yours?
Yeah, I'll let you guys go first.
Oh, you do have it. What's that?
I'll let you guys go first.
Okay, I'll go with you, Magriff. Go ahead, start.
Let's see. Number 5 this week. Roman Reigns. I
Wow.
was highly impressed with his match this week.
Okay.
And of course, he is Universal Champ, so we'll go with that.
Okay.
Number 4, AJ Styles. He's our WWE Champ, and he, like I brought up earlier, he just continues to get better and better on the mic. Number 4 this week. Number 3, Drew McIntyre. My guy. He just keeps impressing. Even though it was a little bit of a letdown of a match for me, he picked up a win over Seth Rollins. Number 3 in the power rankings. Number 2, Becky Lynch. Selling her role so good. Like I stated a little while ago, might be the most well done character, or the way she's selling her character right now, out of anybody.
You're correct on that one.
Yep.
Number 1, Randy Orton.
Oh.
We have watched Randy Orton for so many years, and he's always been off the charts good.
Yep.
We are seeing Randy Orton do something completely different than he's ever done. And statistic that even when he was punting people in the head.
Yeah.
Really love the character, what he's doing with it, and he's proven why he is now the measuring stick for any superstar in WWE.
Yeah.
And you're right with that, because with Randy Orton and with The Undertaker, anyone that's been in a company for a long time, even Jericho, you got to reinvent yourself in any kind of way. And it's either doing what he's doing with, he went with the, the Viper, the maniacal type of character, but he took it to another level this time. You always have to reinvent yourself. You don't want to become stale, especially when you've been with the company, for 17 years? He's coming up on 17
years.
Yeah, 17 years. I think it was like 01, 02 when he came in. 02, so 16.
Yeah.
So either way, it's great things to what he's doing. All right, here we go. Here's my list for this week. We're going to start at number 5, Kevin Owens. Mainly because it was his line that generated the biggest boo in quite a long time. I'm sorry. I was such a fan of that. I had to put it on the list. You can bury me if you want. Bury me in comments. Bury me right now in chat on Twitch. I'm putting Kevin Owens at number 5 just for that. All right. Number 4, I'm with you, but Randy Orton's in my number 4 for this week. I know I got that look from Margaret going, what the hell? This motherfucker crazy? Yes, I am crazy. He is at number 4, okay? I love what he did with Ty Dillinger, but there was a few people ahead, and you'll be surprised who's at number 2, okay? But he's doing great things. Continues to impress me on a weekly basis, but he's at number 4. Number 3, I'm with you. What you said, Magriff, with what she's doing, developing her character, being the heel. Even though the fans aren't accepting it, but she's still doing a great job. Becky Lynch is at number 3. Number 2, here's my surprise guy. You ready? You can bury me in chat, okay? Shelton Benjamin. Yeah, despite the slow up of a couple spots in the match, but you can't deny that he beat Daniel Bryan. You can't get any bigger than that. That was a huge upset. Despite the distraction from The Miz, he got the victory, took it to Daniel Bryan, and won. So there you go, number 2. Number 1, Drew McIntyre. You could say I'm a mark, but you can't deny the continued success, the continued dominance of the Drew McIntyre. And that, my friends, is my list for this week. Okay, my friend, you heard us. You heard Magriff. You heard mine. YouTuber William, what do you got for us? Who's on your list?
Number 5, Kevin Owens and Elias.
All right, so you grew up them up. You could have. All right.
Just because of that segment I'm on with the lowest rating segment ever.
That's a sin.
Number 4,
Mm-hmm.
I had to go with Drew McIntyre.
All right.
He put on a good match on Raw. I could see them doing some stuff in the WWE, like getting like a future Universal title shot down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, he's good where he's at.
Okay.
Number 3, Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
Do I even need to say why?
Why?
You said it already, go.
Go ahead. Oh, you said to say why.
Number 2, this is going to be a shocker, but Dean Ambrose.
Ooh, okay. Despite the what?
I actually had him, and I scratched him out at the last second, so this makes sense to me.
Dean Ambrose had an opportunity to go for a title, but he decided to take it to actually, what I'm saying is, have some balls to go up against Braun Strowman.
Okay.
Because not many people have had the balls to go up against the monster among men.
And he chose friendship.
Number 1 is actually a tie between Roman Reigns and AJ Styles.
All right, hold on. Let's mark that. That's the first time we had a tie for first place here. Go ahead.
For his match up against Ziggler, and Styles for after getting better on his promos.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you heard Styles on a promo? Like, 3-4 months ago? He hasn't done much. 2 weeks ago.
He's done a few with this feud with Joe, but yeah, I get what you're saying with that.
That's my list.
All right. Well, we did. We covered.
I can't let it go.
Oh, he can't let it go. I saw the disappointment in you. thought we could go along, but go ahead. So Owen is not pleased with your list there, or it could be me.
It's you.
It's me.
Number 2, Shelton Benjamin.
Oh, it's me. Okay, all right. Let's go. It's debate time.
We don't see a guy for months and months. He comes in, and because he's got some assistance, gets a win over Daniel Bryan.
You can't defy.
And we're going to put him number 2.
Because it's against Daniel Bryan. The man that could potentially, I don't know the results of the match, and I don't want to know, so don't put it in chat, people. Be nice, okay? Be kind. Yes. The fact that he took out the possible number 1 contender for the WWE Championship, the man, it's Daniel Bryan. He's up there, amongst the top on the SmackDown roster. Yes, the guy hasn't been seen in a while. Comes back and gets a victory. Regardless of how it happened, he won. I'm going to defend that, my friend. Okay? That's just a big upset. It's a big upset.
You guys want to think of...
You know what? It's like cut. I'll take you back. I'll take you back. There was a time where I would even put a man named Taka Michinoku at number 2 on my power rankings when he beat Triple H on Sunday Night Heat, okay? Because a man of that stature, the top guy on Raw, losing to Taka Michinoku? I would put him on my list. So I'm going to defend it, okay? I know you don't agree. We're not always going to agree who's on each other's list. This dude is literally having a panic attack listening to what I just said. Yeah, okay, hell's officially frozen over. You guys actually are complimenting Roman Reigns. I've always said he's a great talent, just he shouldn't be faced. And I see a turn for him, hopefully. But
that's why he's also there number 1.
Yeah.
WWE needs to turn his goddamn...
I see it happening. I see it happening.
I said to myself now.
Yeah, no, it's okay. And you could curse. I mean, we're not completely family friendly. Not to go out of hand, throughout the show. F this and F that.
I need to turn the Roman Reigns ass fucking heel.
All right, can we go along? Are you okay? Do you need me to defend myself more? Because I'm willing to.
I'll let you skate by on this one, but.
Why do you think? Why do you think I shouldn't know?
See that again.
Oh no, you probably won't. But the fact that he beat Daniel Bryan, come on, it's everything that happened during that week. Yeah. That was a huge win for a guy that hasn't been on TV in a while. So damn right, I'm putting him on the list. And the fact that it was Daniel Bryan, I move him up because of that. If I would have honestly, if I put him at number 1, you could.
On the list?
No, actually, I didn't put him on there because, despite having a good match, did he get a pop like Kevin Owens? Did he get a reaction like Randy Orton? Did he get a reaction like Lynch, despite people liking her? But still.
Did Shelton Benjamin get a reaction?
Yes, because they were like, holy shit. He got that holy shit response from the crowd. Like, wait, he just beat Bryan? It was that holy shit response. It's more than just promos. It's matches, the victories. It's huge for a guy like him to get a victory over Daniel Bryan. Okay?
Yeah.
That's not going to push him anywhere.
I know it won't, but for the moment this week that we're covering, that was huge. Okay? That's why I put it on the list. You could crucify me. Is this the first time you really hate my rankings?
I think it is.
I don't know if you ever hated my rankings.
It's not hating your rankings, it's just the one.
Okay, all right. And again, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm just wondering. Okay, all right.
D-Shep's not here to get you, so somebody had to attack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because thank God, because if Slap Ass would have shown up tonight, if he was able to get on, at least I had someone that would back me. William, which he has my back, And by the way, we're going to announce our newest shirt on the. By the way, yeah, we did not mention this. Type ! Merchandise. We have the official Go Home Wrestling Show shirts. We have D-Shep loves 205 live shirt.
Oh God!
And now it's merchandise.
If you want to do it,
here I'll put it in there. And you don't have to if you want to show support to the show, you can. But we're gonna have more shirts. There you go. There's a link for it. Streamlabs.com/Go Home Wrestling Show /pound/merch. There you go. Or we can go with hashtag if you like. Let's go into the final thing we're going to cover tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna do shit, but we ain't gonna say much to the end.
Yeah, and this derives from what we saw earlier this week. And it was the Young Bucks. Cody was in an interview, and he was saying, could we see the Young Bucks on the WWE roster? And he said there's a possibility of seeing him meaning Cody and the Young Bucks in the WWE in January.
Yeah.
Which got me to think. The one thing that I didn't like it at first. But you know what? They exhausted themselves in New Japan. Definitely in Ring of Honor. They have no other programs to work. They worked with everyone. I think it would be a fresh pool of people for them to work with. You might get a watered down version. You're not going to get the Bullet Club, but you get to see the Young Bucks in WWE.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I was talking with people, and it's like, who would be the best tag team for them to face? Well, let's do a tournament to see who that is. Who are the best? Who is the best tag team in the WWE? All right, and as you see right here, we got the tournament brackets. Let's start it down from top to bottom. Undisputed Era is going to be going up against New Day.
I think I know who Griff's gonna go with.
And then we got the Usos going up against the Street Profits. Of course, anyone that's in chat, you could participate in the voting. War Raiders against AOP. And then finally, we got two main rosters going up against each other. The Bar against the Revival. All right. Now, we got our first match. And now, we're going to base this out. Success outside the WWE, or you want to base it out of what they've done in the WWE?
All the above.
All the above.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, well, then we got it. Undisputed Era, New Day.
Griff, you can go first.
All right, Griff, what you got?
Enough said, right there.
I can't see. Oh,
You
Undisputed.
Undisputed Era.
Yeah, because Bobby Fish and, of course, Kyle O'Reilly, I mean, they had a lot of success in New Japan, Ring of Honor. I mean, you can't deny what they have done outside of the WWE. And even though they're not in the main roster, but they're so over. In any major event, when they have a takeover, they're the most talked about match. They had two matches that stole the show back in Chicago, and then, of course, the most recent one. So I'm with you on that. I go with Undisputed Era. All right.
War Games. Throw War Games in there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Show
War Games.
that.
Yep. I forgot about that. Yes. I'll preface that, too.
Undisputed Era goes over New Day.
All right. There you go. So it's unanimous right there. Undisputed Era goes on. Now we go to the next match. You got the Usos. They want going against the Street Profits. And they're an up-and-coming... Well, I mean, they established themselves well in the NXT level. Haven't made it up to the main roster yet. Soon enough, I think they will. But was there enough success outside of WWE? No. Usos? Yeah.
Usos.
Did they really do anything outside of WWE? I don't think so. But let's brace it on as far as success. Well, Usos have won the tag team titles numerous times. Street Profits have yet to capture the tag team champions NXT. So I'm going to go with Usos on this one.
Yep. I'm going Usos.
What about you, Matt Griff? We're going to go unanimous.
For right now, I have to go to Usos. In the future, it will be Street Profits. But right now, Usos is the right.
Oh, you got
to go over here.
Yeah, dude. I'm a big fan of the Street Profits. I actually got shit for that recently. Like in the early on shows with D-Shep. I don't think he's a fan. Yeah, he's not a big fan of them.
I love Street Profits. I think they could potentially be one of the biggest tag teams to hit WWE roster in many, many years.
Dude, not only they're talented, but they got a lot of they have a comedic aspect to their performance. Like back at the Dusty Rhodes tag team tournament earlier this year, they had that match with Heavy Machinery. Of course, they got that cup. You know what?
God, I laughed so hard.
When he was thrown in the corner, what was it? What's his name?
Can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, I'm brain farting on the name.
Not Montez. It's the other one, and I'm with you.
Ford. Yeah, it was Ford. It was the small guy.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Ford. All right. Ford was thrown to the corner. And, of course, he grabs the cup, and he takes a step, and then he offered the cup to the guy from Heavy Machinery. And he's it's moments like that. It's like you're in a battle, but you add some levity to it. It's things like that. It's a complete package. I'm with you as far as that. But success.
And how good was Machinery selling that same gimmick too? He did fantastic during that.
Yeah, it was. It was funny.
You misspelled Revival on the email you sent me. You misspelled Revival.
Yeah. All right, so we got War Raiders. I'm sorry. We're going to go along. We got War Raiders, AOP, two massive tag teams. One.
This is the toughest one of the first round.
Yeah, it is. But here's the thing: War Raiders are on the verge of taking the tag titles because there is that rumor of Undisputed Era being called up before the end of the year. With that being said, they're making an impact. But then you had AOP. Did they even win the tag titles? But they made it up to the main roster. So, as far as success of what they've done, as far as I know, they've both done pretty good in the independent scene. They have won. War Raiders were actually a tag team in another promotion. AOP, they were in other promotions, but I don't think as a tag team. I was trying to do research. I did not find anything with that. I could be completely wrong. But War Raiders at one point did work as a tag team in another promotion and have won. So they have success out of WWE. Yeah. But as far as in the big company right there, who do you think is the best one out of the two? I'm going to personally go with AOP because of what their success now. Because, yes, they were taken off of TV. Let's remember that. They were taken off TV. And we all predicted that they were going to be the henchmen for Corbin. You're seeing that. That's probably what they're going to go with.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to go with AOP.
You're going with AOP? I want to go with AOP because of the potential. War Raiders got a lot to offer. But given to what the AOP has done over them, I'm going with AOP. Now, are we going to... so, we're both going to AOP. Magriff, who do you have? Is it unanimous?
This one's so tough for me, and even to this point, I'm still back and forth. Because there's two things I'm looking at here. WWE obviously goes in War Raiders' favor. Yeah. Since joining WWE, neither team has really successfully done anything as of yet. We all know that both teams are going to be tag team champs at some point.
Oh, definitely.
So, based off of what's happened in WWE, I would have to go on who's had the best match. AOP and War Games wins that for me. AOP moves on.
Yep.
Wow, unanimous. Sorry, that was a point I did not think of, and great point right there by Magriff. So they move on to the second round. Now we got the final matchup in that first round. The Bar Revival. One tag team that was a, established tag team. Compared to two guys that weren't going anywhere singles, but they put them together, and it has worked. And they had success. They're former tag team champions. But the Revival has yet to capture it on the main roster.
Yeah.
But they kind of remind you of the old school, Brainbusters, Tully and Arn Anderson. If you guys don't know that reference, please watch SummerSlam 89, okay? Now, I'm going to go, despite the success, I still have to go with Revival. And you're probably going to crucify me, but I like the established tag team over compared to two guys that are thrown together. Sometimes they get work, but it's always a temporary thing. The Revival always had something, even though they haven't had the success, and they clearly are going to win the tag titles. I feel they're the next ones that would take it off the McIntyre and Ziggler. And they would do it in an upset fashion. And it might even get a pop, I don't know. But I'm going with a Revival on this one. Just the skill alone. And again, I know the Bar has a lot of skill. They both had success as individual wrestlers. But I've always said this, and a lot of people have said this. After a few minutes, someone gets a little winded. And there's a reason why they've thrown him in the tag team picture. So that's my theory. Let's go with you, Magriff. Who do you have?
I get all the points you're making.
Yeah.
These two guys got thrown together. But how long can we crucify them for that? They've been doing this for 2.5 years. They're multiple-time champs and one of the longest-reigning tag team champs. I've got to go with the Bar.
Ooh, okay. All right. I'm more traditionalist, but I get your points. You make valid points. Yeah. Very valid.
Yeah, very valid.
All right.
I gotta go with Griff on this one.
All right. And the Bar moves on. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing.
Good to say this. The boss probably going to get squashed next.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, we'll see. All right, so here we go. We got our next second round matchups. We got Undisputed Era against the Usos and AOP against the Bar. All right, well, let's go with the first matchup. Undisputed Era, Usos. Man, is that even comparable? Again, both of them have success. One more on the main roster than NXT.
Yeah.
But you can't deny what Undisputed Era has done outside of the WWE, meaning Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Even though you got Roderick Strong because he's covering for the injured Bobby Fish, even though he's kind of back now, but during the time he was covering for him, I am so going with Undisputed Era, despite the fact of the Usos' success. Because I go based on outside WWE, what they're doing now, and you know damn well they're going to have a lot of success once they make it up to the main roster. That is me. What do you got, YouTuber William?
I was going to let Griff go next.
Oh, you're going to go with Griff. All right.
Yeah.
Griff, you go next, sir. Who do you have? I'm sure you're going to go with Undisputed Era because you're wearing the shirt, but go ahead. I could be surprised.
I'm having a tough time here.
Oh, ooh,
That's a
okay.
surprise.
No.
Undisputed Era,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of talking myself through this one more or less.
All right.
Undisputed Era prior to WWE, for all the same points you made, and all four of them had a huge success. Since joining WWE, they might be the best stable created since. The Usos are the Usos. Multiple time tag team champions. They don't have a bad match.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
I'm actually going to shock you on this one. I'm going to take the Usos for the
Wow.
time being with the Undisputed. And I will say, at some point, Undisputed Era will outrank every single team on here. But right now, I would go Usos over UE.
Okay. Well, we got that. I went Undisputed Era. He went Usos. What do you got?
Griff is wearing the shirt for my answer.
Undisputed
I can't-
Era. Wow.
I can't argue with it. I mean, I had a tough time with this one, but I completely get UE going over.
All right. Well, guess what? They move on to the next round. Who's going to face Undisputed Era? Is it AOP or is it the Bar? Final matchup of the second round. Here we go. AOP, the Bar.
Is that Squaw City?
And despite the fact that what I said about AOP, but does it translate as far as this matchup with the Bar? Not even comparable. I go with the Bar based on the success of what they've done. And yes, AOP, I mean, they're established tag team because they were put together. The Bar wasn't.
Oh.
But AOP didn't even win the tag titles in NXT before they moved up. So as far as success in the WWE, no, not even comparable. I go with the Bar.
The grade A1 goes with you, Matt Griff, on the.
You know what, great one? You're fired.
Yes. Yeah.
Hold on. You know what? Hold on. I'm pissed. I am pissed. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
How dare you go against me? Hold on. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Jinder Mahal with a breathing exercise. Hold on. Because I'm starting to get mad.
Oh.
Shandy.
Shanti. Alright, sorry. He triggered me. I apologize. He triggered me. Alright. Go ahead. Who you going with?
I'm on with the ball.
The Bar and Magriff, I'm sorry.
I could actually, if WWE ever decided to book this match, I could see Cesaro probably. I would be shocked if Cesaro gives either Razor or leg up and swing.
Hold on. Guess what? Great one. You're hired and then you're fired. Okay? I hired you. You said that and I fired you. Okay? Hold on. Shandy. Okay, I feel better. I'm sorry. Anytime I get angry, I'm going to play that. Sorry.
Where
I-
was that during the Shelton Benjamin talk? I needed it.
Because I forgot I had that. I'm not going to lie.
Jim Jones is here.
Hey, get up, Jones. What's up, buddy?
Hey, get him, Jones.
All right, follow match up. Oh, did we get yours? I'm sorry, Magriff, because of me getting triggered. I forgot. Did you go with the bar or AOP? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't go, but I would have gone bar, so we're good.
All right, bar. All right, the championship. Who is the best tag team in the WWE? According to us three here at the Go Home Wrestling Show, we got the Undisputed Era against the Bar.
1 second.
Oh, man, this is going to be tough. At first, I had a feeling, you know what? I'm going to go with these guys. No, I'm going to go with these guys. Let's look on it. Success in and out of the WWE, out of the WWE, that goes to Undisputed Era. That's been their victory going into this championship round. Undisputed Era, they shocked the system. Exactly. Get him, Jones. You're hired. You know, great one. You're fired. You were hired and fired. Sorry. And then you got the Bar.
Zombie.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. One last time. I'm not going to bore this set. Shawnee.
That's the system.
Yeah, all right, that's enough.
Yeah, I know what I'm going with.
All right. Hopefully you're hearing that on stream.
I heard it.
What's that?
I know who I'm going with.
All right. Well, I don't know on this one. Let's go with you. All right. You know who you're going with. Who are you going with? We got to get the first one.
Undisputed Era.
Oh, all right. All right.
And not because Gus wanted to shoot.
I do.
Outside of the WWE.
Again, this is hard because this is a guy. Yeah, they had success out of the WWE.
And I don't think
And then
this
the-
always had
But
success out of the WWE. You know, it's Sheamus.
yeah, but you got, as far as WWE, you got 2-time tag team champions with the Undisputed Era on NXT. Then you got the Bar. How many times have they had it in 2 years?
2 times.
2 times with one long reign.
2 times Raw tag teams.
So which one is more credible? Main roster or a brand that's pretty much more over than the main roster? Let's be honest.
NXT.
NXT, exactly. I'm going with Undisputed Era.
Do we have a...
Unanimous or... I think he's
Well,
going to go
I'm
against
still
this.
I'm still talking myself back and forth here.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at the Bar here and I'm saying, you know, they've won a lot. They held it for a long time.
Yeah.
We do have a U.S. champ out of it. We do have a world heavyweight champ in that group. But I just can't do it. Boom! Undisputed Era.
All
We
right.
also gotta think with the Undisputed Era. We have
Ladies and
the
gentlemen.
North American champion.
The Undisputed Era is, according to the Go Home Wrestling Show, is the greatest tag team right now. Everyone, thank you for participating in your comments during that. But yeah, it's undeniable. It definitely is. I should have shut that off. There you go. That was undeniable. I mean, right now they're the most over, and they're going to have a lot of success later on once they make it to the main roster.
Best stable since Evolution.
Okay, well, definitely, you're right there. Could it be even more than DX? We don't know. Let's see the impact they will have.
They're undisputed in Evolution. Without it, who would win?
What a great one put in. What's that? What emoji is that? I can't see that. Oh, I can't see that, Chad.
MGS, please.
Either way, don't get mad. Hold on. Do we need to do it together, buddy?
Nah.
Hold on. Shandy. We'll do it together. Shandy. Yeah, that's enough of that clip. I'm going to bore that already. All right, before we go and end this show, YouTuber William, please promote your channel.
Well, I'm still on the path to affiliation.
All right. Well, I'm going to put it in chat for you. This is YouTuber William's link.
One person off stream.
There you go. Please give him a follow. Twitch.tv/YouTuber William. He's trying to get to the path of affiliation. He's getting close. Help the guy out.
The average.
And thank you for joining us again on the Go Home Wrestling Show. It was a pleasure having you. Magriff.
If you need me for Tuesday, I'm always available.
We might hit you up on that. We might take you on that, all right? So be ready. Magriff.
We forgot to mention.
Yeah.
About the new shirt. That's going to be in what shop?
That will be in the shop this week. I'll promote it on our Twitter. That is at wrestling_go. Matt Griff, do you have anything before we get off?
Make sure you get on Twitter and ask EJ what the hell was Shelton Benjamin. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Oh. He's still giving me crap because I put Shelton Benjamin at number 2 on my power rankings. I don't care. I stand by my decision. Nonetheless, let me finish this off. People, if you can't listen to us live, you can follow us on, here we go. I'll post our link. Actually, you can look us up. We're on iTunes now. Look at us up at Go Home Wrestling Show on iTunes. If you can't catch us live, you can listen to us in the archives. We'll have it every Sunday night or Monday morning if you can't catch us live. Or you can just watch us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the like. Hit that notification bell if you want to watch us over there too. You could get... They will see you in chat anyway. So regardless of what platform you watch us on, you will see it in chat. Make sure you follow us when we're not live. I'm at wrestling_go. Lecture Fly that isn't here tonight is at Underdog Fly. Magriff at Magriff86. And then D-Shep, that's not here tonight, at D-Shep 1979. And again, subscribe to us on iTunes, please. Let's get the numbers up. We actually have 8 subscribers so far, and we're only in our 3rd week. Let's try to get these numbers up even more. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot.
Tuesday.
We're going to do the Super Showdown cover. We're going to cover the Super Showdown. So make sure you tune in for that. By then, I will watch the event. So no spoilers before then. All right, we're out of here. Take it easy. See you next week.
Yep.
Let's wave. Bye-bye.
I just clicked the link that you said. What was it? It just gave me a blood. You just said, just gave me a blood. For some reason. I think D-Shep might still be a little salty from what happened last week.
Yeah. Hold on. We're still